Can a couple $100s build a complete field toolkit? Well, today we're gonna find out, and I'm gonna show you what I would buy. Hi, I'm John, the owner of Leeman Geophysical, and we're getting ready to go do a field installation at a very remote site, and it's not going to be possible for me to take my normal toolkit with me. I need to ship something ahead, and I'm actually just gonna leave it there because we go do work with this customer quite a bit, and I don't wanna have to be carrying heavy tools back and forth all the time. So we're going to build a budget kit where we're gonna spend money where it counts, we're going to go cheaper in some places where we can, and see what we can do for a couple $100s. Now, most of these tools came from Harbor Freight, but as a scientist, this should be a bag that you would be confident to have in your lab or in your field vehicle, as you're gonna be able to solve 80 or 90% of your problems with just this alone. So let's dig in and see what I bought. The first thing that you need is somewhere to put all of your tools. Now, this bag did not come from Harbor Freight. I actually got this on a Black Friday sale from Amazon for about $20. Now, the zippers aren't great. The material is pretty thin and not waterproof, but that's okay. This tool bag is really just for occasional use. It's going to sit in storage for 360 days a year at least, probably. So I'm okay with that. Harbor Freight had some pretty nice backpacks if you wanted to spend around $50, but again, I'm trying to do a budget tool bag build here, so 20 is what I've got. You can just use a normal backpack if you want, or something you already have lying around. So in this outer pocket, I've got a few of the probably more common things for our instruments. Now, what you put in different places is going to depend on what you work with. First off, hex keys. These are standard and metric hex keys. These are the Icon from Harbor Freight. I got these on sale, so they were a little cheaper than normal, but do not cheap out on hex keys. If you buy inexpensive hex keys, they will ruin your fasteners, they will round out your fasteners, you won't be able to get things loose in the field. I've tried it. I've tried the Pittsburgh, I've tried some of the cheaper store brands from other home stores, and I've always been disappointed. The nice thing about the Icon set too is they're colored, so it's easy to remember, okay, I need to get the red hex key to fit this fastener. Vice grip, self-locking, locking, whatever they are called, pliers. Vice grip obviously being the brand name. These are Pittsburgh. I got a 3-pack of them. So I got from big to the little pliers here. I normally try not to use these because they can mar the heads of fasteners or whatever you're clamping on. But when you're in the field, sometimes you just have to get the job done, and having some vice grips on hand can be great. The adjustable wrench, often called the crescent wrench, or as I like to call them, universal thumb detecting nut rounders. So these are pretty bad at everything that you try to do with them. You know, you can adjust it so it fits any size of fastener, but they slip, and I got a set of 3 of these different sizes. I'm not gonna pull all 3 out. They're Pittsburgh, they're fine. Again, you probably wouldn't use these in the ideal situation, but in the field, we're not in the ideal situation, and this prevents me from having to carry an entire set of combination wrenches. I like pump pliers or locking, parallel jaw pliers rather, for doing this, but a good set of parallel jaw pliers is more expensive than everything in this pocket. Again, we're trying to do a budget build here. Picks. So these are the Pittsburgh picks. Harbor Freight actually had the Icon picks on sale. You get a straight and a hooked and a 90-degree. And then one that I don't know what you would ever use it for, but it's got several bends in it. These are really good for getting gunk out of a connector in the field. You know, somebody drops the cable and it gets filled with mud. If you're very careful, you can get that connector clean with these. They're also really good for installing and removing O-ring seals as long as you're careful. Okay, so that's gonna button up this outer pocket. We'll zip that up and we'll go to this top pocket. And the top pocket, I've got a roll of tape. This can be electrical tape, it can be duct tape, whatever you like. I got the Harbor Freight cheapy electrical tape here, and a pair of gloves. These actually were $0 because they were the freebie. If you sign up for Harbor Freight coupons, a lot of times you get free things on weekends. And so these are the latex dipped gloves. The latex dipped aren't my favorite. They are somewhat waterproof though, and they were free. And since we're trying to keep the build cost of this toolkit down, that's what I went with. It's always good to have a set of gloves, protect your hands in the field. Okay, now let's get into the main compartment of this bag where all the action is. All right, so first, a hammer. This is a 16-ounce ball peen. I don't like taking carpenter's hammers into the field with me. The claw is not really that useful. It just tears up your bag. It tears up everything it comes into contact with. A good ball peen hammer is pretty useful. Sometimes I'll cut the handle down if it doesn't fit in the bag. 16 ounce for me is just a good weight for a general purpose percussive maintenance tool though. All right, so now the next items in here are all in the back plane except the Quinn set here. These are precision screwdrivers. So all the little bitty Phillips, straight slot, they've got some hex in here. All the little, we'd call them thermostat screwdrivers in the trade, but I really prefer the Klein unit that has a bunch of bits in the handle for this because I don't have to carry as many tools around in a field bag. But this was way, way, way cheaper, even the complete set. Quinn, I've been pretty happy with the screwdrivers in this Quinn line. The Pittsburgh screwdrivers, not so much. So this is probably what I would get for a field bag. It comes with this nice little nylon case to put them all in. There's 12 pieces in here total, and it covers most of what you're probably going to encounter. All right, next in the tool bag here, didn't get these at Harbor Freight, but a Sharpie and a pen or a pencil. It's great to have something to mark with, something permanent in your tool bag. I really like long nose markers as well, but they're not essential for a field bag. Just having a Sharpie so you can label connections. Have them in a couple colors if you want. A light one and a dark one would be helpful. But keeping something to write with in your bag is always a good idea. I got a couple of wire brushes. So I got a brass and a stainless steel brush here. And these are really good for cleaning off corroded contacts, for cleaning threads out that you have so difficult getting them started because they've corroded a little or they've got some gunk in them. Use the brass brush on soft things like copper contacts. Use the stainless steel brush on harder things like bolts and hardware. These are less than $1 each and they're really great to just keep in your bag. Now, right next to them, I have a half-round file. So this is so called because it is flat on one side and rounded on the other, half round. Having a file is, I don't know, I initially thought I wasn't gonna put it in this bag, but this was a cheap one, so it's not a super high quality file, but a file's got me out of a lot of trouble before. You can make things fit with a file, and it's not that heavy. Again, it only added a few dollars to this particular build out. A pair of wire strippers. You're probably going to be working with cable with geophysical field instruments. These are the Doyle wire strippers. I do like them because they go all the way down to 22 gauge, which is what a lot of instrumentation wire is. They deal with the smaller gauges, unlike electricians that are normally dealing with 14, 16, 12, 10 gauge wire. I like the Kleins pretty well, but their warranty hasn't been nearly what it used to be, and the Doyles were much cheaper. So I went with the Doyles, and so far, I've just played with them a little bit. I've been pretty happy. Next, you just need a general assortment of pliers. So we've got 3 pliers that I put in here, a pair of slip joint pliers, a pair of diagonal cutters, and a pair of needle nose pliers. These are the Pittsburgh set. They're not great. Looking at the end of the needle nose, they have quite a bit of play in them. They're going to be fine for our budget field bag though, because we're going to be beating these up in the field, I guarantee it. So I got a cheap set of pliers. Likewise, and I'm not gonna pull all of these out, but you can see I got a cheap set of Pittsburgh screwdrivers. One thing I did like about these is the colors tell you red is Phillips, blue is straight slot, the yellow is square drive, and green is Torx. Probably don't need all of them. Again, I would rather have one multi-purpose like a Klein screwdriver with a set of flip sockets on it that gives me sockets too, but that's $30. This entire screwdriver set was not near that. So again, keeping in budget, this is what I would take to the field, I think. You could have some minor additions, whatever you need for your instruments. Maybe you need snap rings. Maybe you need a set of pipe wrenches. But in terms of just solving a lot of one-off problems in the field or doing general installation, this is about all you need, and you can build this bag relatively cheaply. Now, I didn't spend a ton of money on most of the tools in here, and I've tried to point out where I did spend more, like on those hex key sets. I really like the ball end, I really like the good quality. If I were going to upgrade this anymore, I would consider upgrading the bag. I would definitely go for a Klein multi-bit flip socket screwdriver instead of all of these to save some room. I'd probably get a pair of pump pliers and some parallel jaw pliers, like Knipex to put in here. And maybe I would ditch the precision screwdriver set for a multi-bit screwdriver screwdriver, but that would roughly double to triple the cost of this entire setup. And if you're working on a budget, or these are tools that you're just gonna send out for occasional field use or keep in the back of the field truck, I think this isn't a bad setup. So let me know down below in the comments what you think I missed, or what you would change about this tool bag loadout. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and we'll see you next time.